Okay, Math 7. So we are approaching our last topic here, section 311, solving equations containing fractions. So you guys have worked with equations before, without fractions, with decimals, and just with whole numbers. So the same rules apply. One of my big things that I do every single time that I solve an equation is that I envision a line through my equal sign, because that shows me both sides of my equation. I locate my variable, and then I say, okay, what is happening to my variable? So in this case, 3/4 is being taken away from t. So how do you undo subtraction? Well, in order to undo subtraction, we want to zero this out. I am going to add 3/4 to both sides. Okay, minus 3/4 plus 3/4, they will cancel each other out. And then you have, and sometimes it's helpful for people to rewrite this, 1/4 plus 3/4. Well, that is a fraction with a common denominator, so we love it. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 over 4 is equal to 1. So t equals 1. And that's your answer. Okay, number 2. Again, I like to draw my line through my equal sign. I locate my variable and I say, well, what's happening to that variable? So 7/12 is being added to k, so you are going to do the opposite. You're going to subtract 7/12. Okay. So if you like, you can rewrite this on the other side. 11/12 minus 7/12. 11 minus 7 gives you 4. And then just remember that you always have to simplify, so that's going to give you 1/3. Because 4 goes into 4 one time and it goes into 12 one. So k equals 1/3. So just like I'm showing my work, this is what you guys need to do as well. Okay, so over here, again, we draw our line, locate your variable. 1/6 is being added to f, so to undo addition, you are going to subtract. Now the ones with like denominators are a little bit easier. So 5/6 minus 1/6 is going to give you 4/6, but then that has to be reduced. Divided by 2, you get 2. Divided by 2, you get 3. So f equals 2/3. Okay. 3/8 is being subtracted, so you are going to add 3/8 to both sides. That cancels. You get g equals 1/8 plus 3/8 is 4/8. Make sure you simplify. G equals 1/2. Circle your answer. Okay, so now we have a couple with unlike denominators. So this means that we're going to have to find a common denominator before we can do our problem. Probably should have given you guys a little bit more space there, but we'll get it done. So same thing is going to happen. 1/4 is being taken away from p, so to undo that, I'm going to add 1/4. But what's going to happen, and this is even more important for you to rewrite, so I'm going to have 1/6 plus 1/4. Well, they do not have a common denominator right now. So I know they both can go into 12. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to multiply this fraction by 2's and this one by 3's. Because 2 times 6 is 12, so this ends up being 2/12. And then 4 times 3 is 12, so this ends up being 3/12. Now they have a common denominator. Remember, we love common denominators. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5/12 can't be reduced, so that's your answer. So it's not really anything harder than what you've been doing. You're just solving an equation to get that final answer. Again, draw your line. 2/5 is being subtracted, so you need to add 2/5. Take that time, rewrite your problem. So 3/10, and it has to stay in the right order, plus 2/5. 5 goes into 10, so I only have to actually change one fraction. So this is going to be 3/10 plus 4/10. Now they have the same denominator. We love that. 3 plus 4 is 7/10. That's your answer. Okay, why don't you guys pause the video and do this one on your own and unpause it and check to see if you're right. Let you guys pause the video. So, if you arrived at 1/8, you did it correctly. Okay, so the last type of problem are solving equations by multiplying. So there's this really cool trick that is if you are trying to get rid of a fraction that's being multiplied by the variable, you're really going to divide. Okay, but in division, remember you skip, flip, and multiply. So multiplying by the reciprocal, multiplying by that flip of the fraction actually solves our problem. Okay, so 4 times 3, this just gives you, I'm just going to show you how this cancels out because it turns into a 12/12, and that's 1. So these just cancel, and you have m. Then we're going to multiply. I'm actually going to cross simplify here because 6 goes into, or 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes into 4 twice. So 5 times 2 is 10. 3 times 3 is 9. So it's 1 and 1/9. Okay, so again, you're just going to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm multiplying by 2/1. And you're doing the same thing over here. Remember, we like multiplying fractions because you don't have to find a common denominator. So these just cancel. Now I'm going to cross simplify because I am going to do that every time. 2 goes into 2 1 time, 2 goes into 8 4 times. 5 times 1 is 5. 4 times 1 is 4. Now 4 goes into 5 1 time, and there's 1 left over. Okay, again, you're trying to get rid of this, so you're dividing by 5/6. Well, dividing is really multiplying by the reciprocal. So you're going to multiply by that. That cancels. Now I can, just looking for my cross simplifying, I can divide both these by 2. So 2 goes into 10 5 times, 2 goes into 6 3 times. So 3 times 3 is 9. 5 times 5 is 25. 9/25 is your final answer. Last little part here says Eunice walked 1/4 of a mile from home to the store on her way to a friend's house. If the store is 1/3 of the way to her friend's house, how far is her friend's house from home? Now this one is a little bit tricky. You got to kind of set up your equation. If the store is 1/3 of the way to the friend's house, so 1/3 of, and of is multiplying, distance 2 friends equals store. So writing it out in a little word equation helps me. So do we know the distance to her friends? Nope. But we do know that she walked of 1/4 of a mile to the store. So, just like we are practicing, we can multiply by the reciprocal because we would want to divide here. So these ones are going to cancel. You have x equals, nothing can simplify there. So it takes 3/4 of a mile to get to her friend's house. So just remember to undo the equation to get the letter by itself. Write a word statement out. That's sometimes helpful to write your actual equation. And then when we're multiplying, you're actually dividing. But remember, dividing fractions, you skip, flip, and multiply. So let's multiply by the inverse.